Go ask Alice. Guess what the subject of this video's going to be? Greetings, groovy people. Welcome to my channel. This is the Blue Dragon, the self-proclaimed Blue Dragon speaking. Sorry, I'm a little silly. This is take 2, just to see if I can be a little less verbose. That is the word of Wednesday, verbose. I really nattered on in my first recording, and I'm doing it again. I hate myself. Anyway, I'm kidding. This week, we have got a sketch video. I am sketching a character who has a name drop in the comic in Act 5 at the beginning, Mad Mary. And this is actually the start of I'm taking an old drawing that I did back in college. My mom, I love her to death. She still has it hanging up in the house. It's horrible looking. I'll post a picture of it. The frame's even falling apart because it's a cruddy frame. I didn't even put a nice frame on it, but poor mom, she's got it hanging up because she's so proud. I love her. Anyway, I'm redoing that picture that I did back in college, which is very obviously inspired by Alice's Adventures in Wonderland, which is the subject of my discussion today, which isn't really a discussion, it's just more a babbling of things that are Alice related that I like. This subject hasn't been done to death at all, but yeah, I think, as is the case with many young kids, Alice's Adventure in Wonderland, it's so incredibly accessible for kids because it's very nonsensical, it's whimsical, it's got a lot of energy to it. It is a little wordy at times, but I mean, I love wordy. I mean, it's just a great little story, and that coupled with Through the Looking Glass, of course. My first introduction to Alice's Adventures in Wonderland technically was probably the Disney film version of it. And also when I was younger, they had that movie where Whoopi Goldberg was like the cat. And it was really early on with the CG or whatever they were doing. It was kind of weird. I don't remember much about it, but I remember it being kind of weird. And also I had that one chick in it. The girl who played Alice, she later was in other movies. I can't think of it right now. I've seen her in something. I can't remember. I'll post a picture of it or put it, in the text where I put everything that I forget or don't know what I'm talking about. Just correct it in the text scrolling above the video. Anyway, sorry, I'm being silly. But my next my mom had a copy of it as well. I read Alice's Adventures in Wonderland back to back with Through the Looking Glass and loved it. Of course, went through the whole nitpicking. Oh my god, the movie didn't follow it. But I mean, it's still a pretty cool, for the time, it's from the 50s. It was pretty different for a Disney film, you gotta admit that. But anyway, so I read the book, and come high school, I was still really liking it. For one thing, I was in 6th grade, I started listening to the Beatles. Went into a full hippie mode where I was trying to live vicariously through my mom's memories and music. Not literally, but listening to the music. Mom had the album Surrealistic Pillow by Jefferson Airplane, and I really like more of their stuff than just that album now, but not Starship. Sorry, I just can't do Starship. Can't take it seriously. But anyway, I digress. So I was really big, into like that counterculture music. So of course I read Go Ask Alice. So I was reading all that, and I was getting into the Alice in Wonderland and all that stuff. So in high school we had to write for one of my English classes. I loved the teacher, man. She was awesome. But we had to write an epitaph of something. I don't remember it had to be like based in literature or if we just had to make sure that it rhymed or what the deal was. I can't even remember. But I do remember that it was kind of a collaboration. I usually did my own homework, don't get me wrong. I did my own homework. But Mom and we're, especially in high school, I don't live at home anymore, but when I was younger, we hung out a lot. It wasn't one of those, my mom's my best friend thing, but as I got older, she was less of a disciplinarian and more of a, you could hang out and talk about things with her. So she was very open. And she and I worked on this epitaph together, which another thing she still has hanging up, which I'm actually prouder of. I did it in high school, and I liked that better than this image of the, Dark Horse characters, my comic. I'm not going to go into the history. These are my comic book characters. Watch my other videos. You'll know what I'm talking about. Or go read the comic. Link in the description. But I actually liked that picture because when I did the epitaph, it was like in the shape. It was on a big poster board, and it was in the shape of a tombstone. But the tombstones had on the outline vines, and then I had a picture of Alice standing next to a mushroom with the caterpillar, and I actually really liked my drawing for that better than what I did for this Dark Horse picture. So what I'm doing now is redoing that image to become April's wallpaper for my patrons. But yeah, Alice in Wonderland is one of those things. It's very accessible, even internationally, because another one of my big influences is besides Takeuchi, who did Sailor Moon, was Clamp, and I've talked about them a little bit in some of these videos. They had this, if something could be at all more outlandish than the original story, that manga and anime is gonna do it. They're gonna take it there. They're gonna take it to the next level, whether they should or not. And Clamp created this Miyuki-chan in Wonderland manga, and it wasn't just in Wonderland. It started in Wonderland, but I think they had her in TV land and in video game land and all kinds of ridiculous things. And the story always ended up somehow Maiyuki-chan's clothes got ripped off, fell off, some weird, ridiculous, it was just so crazy, the lengths the story would go to justify how her clothes deteriorate. And I think if I have the copy of it somewhere, but I think that she does still have, her bra and underwear on, but I just remember, man, the artwork for this is really awesome, but this is a ridiculous story. But at the same time, other stuff Clamp did, I was trying to read everything that they did. I still haven't read everything they've done, but I just love their art and their story, the way they tell stories. So that was something that I kind of remember in college reading. But at any rate, it just goes to show just how influential something, the stories from the 1800s, just how influential this story has been, and just spanning different cultures too. It's really, really kind of cool. One last thing that I really wanted to talk about was something I just discovered this year. We have a Raspberry Pi. My partner, he does computer stuff, and we've got a bunch of retro games on this Retro Pi thingy. And I never had a lot of game systems growing up. We had the Nintendo, we had Sega Genesis, and I didn't even get PlayStation until I went to college. I had the Game Gear that my sister and I shared, but usually I played it. By that time, she didn't give a crap about video games. So when I was growing up, I didn't have a lot of these game systems, and when he did this Retro Pi thing, I discovered this amazing video game, and it's called Fushigino Kuno Alice. And basically, I think it's Fushigi, I think, is mystery because of Fushigi Yugi, mysterious play. But yeah, it's Alice's Adventures in Wonderland, and it's in Japanese. There's enough English text in it, and playing through it a couple times, I was able to figure out what the rules are and what each. It's an interesting board game type video game where you have cards and they do different things, and you flip over different tiles to reveal something, either something blocking your path, revealing a new card, or revealing an event that takes place in the book. This, for being a video game for the Game Boy Advance, this thing is closer to the original story than a lot of, not just video games, but a lot of movies and retellings of Alice's Adventure in Wonderland. So if you have the ability to play, I'm actually going to link, oddly enough, I found somebody who played it on YouTube, and I am going to put that card in here, and I hope that he's monetized this video and he can make money off people going over to it, because I just think it's an amazing game. It's a lot of fun. If you get a chance to play it, you should try it out. That's my endorsement. I still ended up rambling, but not quite as bad. Not 18 minutes worth of ramble, so I think I'm gonna go ahead and close it for this time, people. I appreciate you stopping by. The question of the week is, what is your favorite childhood stories, like books that you read when you were a young kid and were able to read a book of your own? What was your favorite book? We'll leave it at that. Yeah. Anyway, yeah, thanks again for stopping by, you guys. Peace and love. Fare you well. And keep on trucking.